Coming up on Cannabis Coast to Coast News this week, the industry takes the wrong kind of hit this week when DEA Judge John Mulrooney cancels future hearings on rescheduling cannabis off Schedule 1 of the CSA. Now all hope for reform in 2025 is in the new administration's hands as the transition to a Republican control of Congress is complete. Plus, an Ohio mom goes viral when she gets a bonus at a Burger King drive-thru.
Do you see that? You can't say that on here. Mary Jane.
Yes, that employee was fired on the spot, and the Burger King chain confirms his termination and condones the incident. And High Times CEO Adam Levin pleads guilty to securities fraud after a scam he orchestrated scam money from investors 4 years ago. Plus, at first you don't succeed, try again, right? Florida cannabis advocates start the process for another adult use ballot initiative for 2026. They'll face another uphill battle for a 60% approval to change that state's constitution. And a THC overdose in Washington state puts a new user in the hospital, and now he's suing the dispensary. Plus, an update on the California wildfires from the author of the CannaPitch newsletter, Jackie Bryant in San Diego. All that and state reports from coast to coast on Cannabis Coast to Coast with Alaina Pinto next.
This is Cannabis Coast to Coast News. I'm Pam Chmiel reporting from New York. Today our guest is Stacey St. She's the founder of CannaPitch New York City. She's also waiting approval for a dispensary license, and in the meantime, she launched CannaPitch, a business showcase to support and connect BIPOC and women-led New York City cannabis ventures to investors. Let's welcome Stacey St. Welcome, Stacey.
Thank you. That's a great intro. I appreciate that, Pam. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to hear about it, especially since getting investments in this industry is very difficult. And so I'd love to hear about you recently had your very first CannaPitch in New York City, and just wanted to see if you could tell us a little bit about the businesses who participated and the entrepreneurs behind them.
All right, perfect. All right, so our first event, like you mentioned, was about 2 weeks ago, and we had 3 businesses that were selected. We had the first was a legacy to legal licensed cultivator. He's actually the only licensed cultivator for Jersey City. So we're really excited. He does like premium flower, and he has a network of dispensaries he already has, deals with where he's starting to cultivate. He has very interesting process because he's been doing this for years in the legacy market. So he already has a quality product that he's putting on the market, and he's trying to transition that into the legal side. The other business that pitched was Terracotta. She's actually based in Brooklyn, and she has a pre-roll brand. She's very innovative with her branding, and she knows where her niche market is. And then the third business is Private Caregivers Collective. He actually is the ancillary business that pitched for that night, and he provides access to one-on-one consultations for home growers, caregivers that are trying to grow for others, for patients, and he also sells like home grow equipment. So he's very conscious of like the New York City grower and how to make it so that they're able to grow their product at home without there being any issues.
Are they licensed at all? Are they waiting for licenses?
Yes. Businesses are plant touching, then we would like them to be licensed. And if the businesses aren't plant touching, then they don't have to, obviously. So we make sure that there's at least one ancillary business for each of the events, because I feel like that's another area where there's a lot of opportunity and it often goes a little overlooked. And I feel like it's a great space for people that want to be in the cannabis industry, but don't want to have to go through the messy licensing process. So there's a lot of opportunity with ancillary. So we made sure they're included. But as for those who are plant touching, we would prefer to have those that are licensed.
What was the investor feedback? It's tough out there.
Yeah. So because it's the first one, we weren't as large as we wanted it to be, but we are growing. We had a lot of people that were interested in coming, but couldn't make it last minute, which is okay. But there was a lot of interest from those who felt like just the idea of CannaPitch as a whole is something that's extremely needed and not currently taking place. So the idea behind CannaPitch was really just to kind of bridge the gap, because we do know that while investment is hard, finding investors is hard across the board in any industry. It is especially hard in cannabis, but the opportunity is there because New York is a space that people want to be in. Like New York, if there is a market, if there's an industry where there are multiple different markets and New York is one of them, New York is at the top. This is the area you want to be in. So we kind of wanted to bridge the gap between those that are interested and still trying to figure out their way to get into the space and presenting these minority and women-owned brands as the opportunities where it's like, hey, here they are, here they're packaged, here they are mentored. They have been provided guidance on how to strengthen their businesses and their story. So there's a good space for the investors. And I feel like there's a lot of interest as we grow.
So would it be sort of like an incubator? Incubator accelerator space? Would you provide like a co-working space, or is it just going to be the networking hub?
Yeah, so mostly the networking hub. I have kind of referred to it a little bit as an incubator, but I don't want to lean too heavily into that because there's a lot that goes into that. And it's already a lot on the whole of creating these events and getting these investors interested and consistently showing up. So there is a level of incubator, but it's not as in-depth as you see it in other programs that are dedicated specifically to that. We kind of just want to make that an aspect of the networking event where we're making them as strong as possible, while then giving them the stage to pitch that strong, strengthened business to investors.
So when's your next event?
As of right now, our application window for the businesses to apply is open. It's going to be open until December 15th or the 13th, whichever is the Sunday. So we're going to have that application window open for the next few weeks. And then after that, we're going to have 3 businesses selected. And then the next event itself will take place in mid to late January.
And where can people find out more about you and how to apply to pitch at your event at CannaPitch?
Probably the most engaging one that we use is LinkedIn. Then you can always just email me at my address, which is stacey@cannapitch.nyc.
Thank you, Stacey. So nice to meet you, and I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you. I really appreciate it because it's still early days, but there's potential.
That's right. I'm Pam Chmiel reporting for Cannabis News Coast to Coast.
I think I messed up. Did you know there's a place that covers all the cannabis news you need? Welcome to Cannabis Media, your go-to for all things cannabis. PCM is the CNBC of weed, bringing you the latest news and talk shows with a twist. We've got 16 state correspondents and multimedia journalists from around the US and Canada.
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Jones with Big Green Distribution with the Missouri Cannabis Report.
I'm Karen Black from Greenfinger Consulting with the Arizona Cannabis Report.
I'm Amy Carter from Michigan Weedsters.
Andrew Behringer here reporting from Washington, D.C.
Debbie Fazy with the Canadian Toke of the Week.
It all started back in 2018 when founder Jimmy Young kicked off the In the Weeds podcast. His mission? Documenting the fight to end cannabis prohibition. Fast forward to today and we've got Cannabis Coast to Coast with Alaina Pinto, delivering the nation's only TV-style cannabis news show.
Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Cannabis Coast to Coast, PCM TV's weekly roundup of industry news from California to New York. I'm Alaina Pinto.
As of August 2024, PCM has racked up over 1.2 million views and 14.5 million impressions on our YouTube channel. With 15,000 subscribers and growing, our reach is spreading like wildfire. PCM's website, YouTube, Rumble, Discord, Roku, Twitch, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and even our very own PCM TV app. Get your cannabis news fix with Cannabis Media. We're here to keep you informed and entertained. Stay tuned and stay lifted.